Heritage Orchid Display. I didn't realize that Singapore has been the center of orchid breeding since the 1930s. That's a long time.
Singapore, a city known for its futuristic skyline, bustling streets, and towering skyscrapers. But what if I told you that even in a city as urban as this, you can escape into nature? Welcome back to my channel. In this second of the two-part Singapore outdoor series, we visit the Botanic Gardens and National Orchid Gallery. In the previous vlog, we had hiked the TreeTop Walk, so if you want to check that out, look for the link below. We had taken a grab car from the Windsor Park car park to the Botanic Gardens to save time. One forest was not enough for us, so here we are at the Singapore Botanic Gardens.
Good idea to start off at the visitor center, pick up a map.
Looking at the map, I could see that the Botanic Garden was a lot bigger than I had thought. The National Orchid Gallery is located on the grounds, and that's where we wanted to head to. Singapore is known as the city in a garden, and spaces like this prove why. Even in a dense urban environment, nature is never far away. Studies show that spending time in green spaces reduces stress and boosts mental health, and Singapore makes it easy to find nature without leaving the city.
I've never seen a red fig before. This is interesting. Apparently, it's tasteless. Oh, that's too bad, because I really love figs, especially the mission ones.
You can't come to Singapore without seeing a rainforest, so we're about to enter the rainforest.
According to the guide at the visitor center, he said the best bang for our buck here is to go through the rainforest.
Bang for your buck? Well, actually, the Botanic Gardens entry is free, except for the National Orchid part. But yeah, for the most part, it's free. But we're kind of running low on time here because we have another excursion later this afternoon. So we only have about 2 hours to spare for the Botanic Gardens and the orchids.
Perfect. So we take this path and then it's supposed to take us over to the Orchid Plaza where the National Orchid Gallery is.
But if you have all the time in the world, apparently it takes 5 hours to see everything.
Into our second rainforest of the day. And it's looking familiar, like the TreeTop Walk. At least the nice thing about this rainforest walk is that we can take advantage of the canopy. It's nice and cool and shaded. Why is there a chicken? It reminds me of Hawaii, where there's roosters everywhere. This reminds me of the monkey bars in elementary school. You guys know what I'm talking about. The ones where, kids climb up and climb across.
The different types of animals you can see in a rainforest. This here, I recognize it, the civet. Apparently, because of the civet, you can get the world's most expensive coffee.
You've tried civet coffee, did you like it?
Actually, I did. So I tried civet coffee when we were in Cebu last year. It was good. I had it dark without any milk or sugar. It was bold and flavorful. Check out the vlog if you want to see it. I'll put the link in the description below.
We're close to the National Orchid Garden, only 100 meters this way. Apparently, these trees are old, and when I say old, like a few hundred years old, I can believe it. It keeps going on and on to the very top. Maybe this was the original rainforest before, everything got cut down for development. Perfect. This is what we were looking for, the National Orchid Garden.
While entry to the Botanic Gardens is free, entry to the Orchid Garden is paid. But since my favorite flower is the orchid, it's totally worth it to me.
In case you were wondering what admission is for National Orchid Garden, pretty good deal for the locals, but then if you're a tourist like I am, actually it's still not too bad. I mean, 15 Singaporean dollars, yeah, not too bad per person. I'm not sure how we're going to do this. I thought it was going to be a simple loop, but there's a lot of zigzags and loop-de-loops. Ooh, getting excited. Here's her first orchid and her second orchids. More orchids. They're just everywhere. This park isn't that big, but from the way that I'm going, looking at every orchid, yeah, we could take 2 hours here. Photo spot. Yeah, no kidding. Just orchids everywhere.
There are even small yellow orchids that comprise this set of golden arches. An Instagram-worthy photo spot indeed.
Looking at this, I feel like I'm in Hawaii. Like, these should be turned into leis.
There's an indoor section to the orchid gallery.
What do we have here? Ooh, a cool house. Hopefully it will be cool inside. It does feel cooler in here. Feels like there's air conditioning in here. These look like flower arrangements that you pay a lot of money for, except it's not a flower arrangement. I think they're, growing from the actual soil.
There's more orchids down there.
Talk about a hybrid. I've never seen two types of designs or colors on an orchid like this. Or I've never seen petals on an orchid this long. That's interesting. This one's called a tiger tail. I totally can see it. I get it. These white orchids remind me of a wedding dress or maybe a veil.
Besides taking advantage of the air conditioning, I was in orchid heaven.
Yeah, so don't throw your spare change here.
You don't want the metal from the coins contaminating the water and hence the orchids.
That's just the cool house over there where we came from. Taking a break here because we've been outside in the humidity now for several hours. Now off to see some more of the orchid gardens. The times I've been to an orchid exhibit in a botanic gardens, they usually tend to be pretty small. Like there's a small enclosure of orchids. But this here, that's pretty big. Orchid Gallery takes up about 20% of the park. Whoa, I've never seen orchids grown that high. These are VIP orchids. And when they say VIP, they mean that these orchids are named after certain heads of state. Like this one here was named after Queen Elizabeth. Ooh, I love it. This one here was named after Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales. Now Princess of Wales. But this was back in 2012 when they were still Duke and Duchess of Cambridge.
There are other orchids named after heads of states and politicians that I was not familiar with. However, I love the concept.
I like this view. I can pretend that I live in some great mansion and I'm looking outside at my orchid garden. Yeah, I wish that this was my mansion and every day I get to walk out amongst the orchids. We had missed the misting house and the secret ravine, so we're doubling back. Oh my gosh, that's a monitor. That's a monitor out in the wild. Oh. They grow orchids on every continent except for Antarctica, obviously. So over here are some orchids from Central and South America. The secret ravine. So this is where they have orchids from tropical mountains. I know the word tropical mountain sounds like an oxymoron, but then again I think about Hawaii. Definitely there are mountains in Hawaii. So we are in the secret ravine. I know I've definitely seen these orchids in Hawaii.
Walking through the orchid garden feels like stepping into a dream. Everywhere you turn, there's a burst of color. Deep purples, fiery oranges, soft pinks. Some orchids are tiny and delicate, while others are bold and dramatic, almost looking too perfect to be real.
It's so vibrant. I don't need a filter to accentuate the color. This place is so winding that we actually have to use a compass to figure out how to get to the next attraction. They definitely win the gold medal for orchid gardens. I've been to many botanic gardens, but I've never seen anything as elaborate as this one here.
While our attention is drawn to the orchids, don't forget to look up and admire the archways.
Found it. Silver arches. Why are they called silver arches? Take a look. They do look like silver arches. I've seen orchids grown in the wild like this. It's actually coming from the tree branches. Wow. Here's the other thing we were looking for, the orchid checkerboard. These orchids are arranged in the pattern of a checkerboard. I don't know. I don't really see it. I was thinking more of black and white, black and red. Yeah, not really seeing it, but okay. Taking advantage of resting underneath the canopy here. Okay, we're gonna head out of the orchid gardens here. All right, it's been real. Yes, I do hope to come back again. We may have taken Grab all morning, but we're gonna end our day by taking the MRT. This is nice how the MRT is close to the Botanic Gardens.
As we make our way towards the MRT station, it's tempting to just rush ahead and get back to the city. But honestly, this walk is part of the experience. Instead of making a beeline for the exit, take a moment to slow down. Listen to the rustling leaves, the distant bird song, the gentle ripple of the water. It's these little details that make places like this special.
Even the walk to the MRT stop is an excursion in itself. One more kilometer to the station, but this is the most scenic walk to the MRT I've ever experienced. Yes, scenic walk to the MRT. You can't beat this. The second monitor of the day. Oh my gosh, it's here in this pond. I've never seen a monitor out in the wild. I've only seen them in cages and, people's pets. Oh wow, it's moving. I feel like we're on National Geographic. Oh, it's a bonus one. Another monitor. Wow, we've seen a turtle, plenty of monkeys, and then some monitors. Quite a day that we had. If you're hungry, there are places to eat here in the Botanic Gardens. It looks like they have some restaurants. One of them is named Bee's Knees, so I find that funny. The Eco Garden. So one last exhibit before we get to the MRT. Some bamboo ahead because, of course, we're in Asia. There would be bamboo growing in Asia. And in keeping with the theme of Eco Garden, of course, bamboo falls under that category because it's regenerative and you can use it for all sorts of things. Say goodbye to the Botanic Gardens. We turn here for the MRT.
As we wrap up our time at the Botanic Gardens and head towards the MRT, it's hard not to reflect on the day. This morning, we were up in the treetops at the TreeTop Walk, surrounded by dense rainforest, and now we spent the afternoon strolling through beautifully curated gardens filled with orchids and shaded paths. So as we step back into the city, we're taking that feeling with us, because no matter how urban Singapore gets, nature's never too far away.